Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel. This Saturday is UFC Vegas 50, and in the main event we have Thiago Santos versus Magomed Ankalaev, and this video is going to be my full breakdown and prediction for this light heavyweight fight. And UFC Vegas 50 is actually a pretty solid fight night card. I'll be doing a couple prediction videos for UFC Vegas 50, so make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And this main event, I am super excited for. It's super relevant within the light heavyweight division. Whoever wins this fight is going to be in a very good spot, potentially only one more fight away from a potential light heavyweight title shot. So a very important fight. Can't wait for Saturday. So if you look at the tail of the tape, you have Thiago Santos. He's currently ranked number 5 in the UFC official rankings. Ankalaev ranked number 6. Santos is 38 years old. Ankalaev is 29. Santos is 6'2". Ankalaev is 6'3". Santos has a 76-inch reach and Ankalaev has a 75-inch reach. So other than a massive youth advantage for Magomed Ankalaev, everything else is pretty similar as far as their reach and height. So if you look at Thiago Santos, he's kind of in a weird spot right now. He's only won 1 out of his last 4 fights. And if you look, he used to fight at middleweight. Some of you guys may not know that. He used to fight at middleweight. He had some mixed success at middleweight, decides to move up to light heavyweight, and he goes on a 3-stoppage win streak. He TKOs Eric Anders. He KOs Jimmy Manuwa in brutal fashion. And then he TKOs Jan Blachowicz, who then went on to become light heavyweight champion. And after this win over Jan Blachowicz, he earned himself a light heavyweight title shot against Jon Jones. And in this fight, it was super competitive. And a lot of people thought that Thiago Santos did enough to dethrone Jon Jones. And a lot of people thought Santos got robbed in this fight. I thought it was razor close. I thought it could have went either way. But what blew my mind is Santos injured both his knees. He had ligament damage in both his knees during this fight and somehow was still able to make it razor close against Jon Jones and even fight to the level that most people thought that he won the fight against Jon Jones. He took a long while off after that, a little bit over a year. He came back against Glover Teixeira. And the layout of the division was a little bit weird right then. Jan Blachowicz had just won the vacant belt by beating Dominic Reyes. And people were talking this Thiago Santos-Glover Teixeira fight, potentially the winner of this fight was going to get the next title shot, and it ended up being Glover Teixeira winning this fight, but this was a very competitive fight. Thiago Santos hurt Glover Teixeira early, badly on the feet, was looking for the finish, but in typical Glover fashion, he's able to survive, eventually get in on a double leg, and take Santos down and control him for the entire first round after being rocked. Then in the second round, again, Glover Teixeira comes out, looks for the takedown, gets the takedown, controls Thiago Santos on the ground for the majority of the second round. And at the very end, the tail end of the second round, Thiago Santos almost gets rear naked choked by Glover Teixeira. He was saved by the bell. It was super deep. I think Glover Teixeira would have finished it had he had another 10 or 15 seconds in this fight. Well, then the third round starts off, and Thiago Santos shucks off a takedown and then hurts Glover Teixeira badly, drops him, pounces on him, starts laying down brutal ground and pound. And I rewatched this fight in preparation for this video, and I remembered this vaguely, but I could not believe it seeing it in real time. It went in a 30-second, maybe even less, maybe about 20-second span. It went from looking like Thiago Santos was going to get the finish to Glover Teixeira in full mount, raining down punches, and then eventually getting the rear naked choke. It was crazy. Santos was on top of him after he dropped him and hurt him badly, laying down brutal ground and pound, elbows, hammer fist, and kind of got over aggressive. Glover Teixeira kind of, rolls into a double leg, gets Thiago Santos up against the fence, drops him down, immediately goes into full mount, starts raining down punches. Thiago Santos gives up his back, and Glover Teixeira locks up the rear naked choke. All within a 20-second span. It looked like either guy could have won the fight. Insane, super competitive fight. Glover Teixeira, I believe his next fight was against Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight title, and Glover Teixeira wins the light heavyweight title. So had Santos won that fight, he would have been the one fighting Jan Blachowicz for the title and potentially winning it, especially considering he already had a win over Jan Blachowicz. After that, he goes on to fight Alexander Rakic at UFC 259. I was super excited for this fight. Unfortunately, it was an absolute stinker. Nothing really happened in this fight. It could have gone either way. Alexander Rakic got the unanimous decision but honestly, it could have went to either guy. It was very uneventful. Santos landed some good leg kicks. Rakic was just clinching up, really doing nothing in the clinch. And I barely remember the fight. And when I rewatched it, it wasn't really exciting to rewatch at all. Then his most recent fight was October of 2021. He beat Johnny Walker via unanimous decision. And in this fight, it's the same as the Rakic fight in a way. Wasn't very eventful for either guy. Santos wins. He defeats Johnny Walker, but it was a lot of just staring at each other and not really doing much. Johnny Walker was just feinting nonstop. And, Santos, I guess, I remember thinking it was kind of close, but, I gave it to Santos when I watched it live. I did not rewatch that entire fight. I only watched a little bits and pieces of that fight to do this video. But a very uneventful fight. And against Johnny Walker, getting the unanimous decision and the fight being rather competitive, isn't that great of a look, now where Johnny Walker currently is. It hasn't aged very well. And now he's going to take on Magomed Ankalaev. Magomed Ankalaev has 17 career wins in MMA. Only one loss, his UFC debut to Paul Craig back in 2018, where he was submitted via triangle choke. Since then, he's gone on a nasty winning streak. He beat Ian Cutelaba back in February 2020. It was that weird controversial stoppage where Cutelaba was kind of like playing possum a little bit. He didn't really get clipped, but he was like the way he was moving, and then the referee jumped in. It was some weird stoppage. It should have not been stopped. And then the UFC decided, since this was kind of a fluky stoppage, they were going to rebook the fight. And they rebooked Magomed Ankalaev versus Ian Cutelaba. I believe it was 3 times, maybe 4. It kept getting canceled over and over and over again. And honestly, I thought we were never going to see it. And this was a fight I really wanted to see because the first fight was shaping up to be a really exciting fight. Both guys pretty aggressive. Both guys have nasty power. Both guys really aggressive. Well, finally, we got it at UFC 254, October of 2020. And Magomed Ankalaev went out there and proved that he's the better fighter. I mean, he was lighting up Cutelaba in this fight. And I think it was a left hook that put him down. And then Ankalaev showed some brutal ground and pound. He put Cutelaba out cold. In this fight, up until the left hook that dropped Ian Cutelaba, it was competitive. Ankalaev was clearly winning, but Cutelaba was landing some shots of his own, and Ankalaev was a little bit red in the face after the fight. But overall, great performance by Ankalaev. After that, he got a unanimous decision against Nikita Krylov. And then his most recent fight was at UFC 267, October of last year, against Volkan Ozdemir. And this was Ankalaev's biggest step up in competition. I am very high on Volkan Ozdemir, at least I was at that point in time. I actually picked Volkan Ozdemir to beat Magomed Ankalaev. I couldn't have been more wrong. Ankalaev went out there and put on a masterclass. Outside of getting stung a little bit, maybe in that first minute or so, he pretty much put on a masterclass. He was landing the 1-2 constantly. The best thing that Ozdemir did all fight was chop the legs, but Magomed Ankalaev was just too fast for him. He was brutalizing him. He cut him up badly within this fight. And, I thought maybe had he put his foot on the gas a little bit more, he might have been able to finish Volkan Ozdemir. But Volkan Ozdemir is way better than people give him credit for. And I thought this was an amazing win by Magomed Ankalaev. And after this win, I jumped aboard the hype train. I am on the hype train of Magomed Ankalaev. But I'm a little bit worried about this fight with Thiago Santos, because one of Magomed Ankalaev's weaknesses per se is he tends to eat a lot of leg kicks. He's kind of heavy on that lead leg. And Thiago Santos in the past has shown that's one thing he's really good at, is chopping the legs. He has lightning fast leg kicks. And also Magomed Ankalaev tends to absorb. He's hittable, and I know you could say that about a lot of guys, but he does get clipped with a lot of punches. And when you get clipped by Thiago Santos, there's a chance that you could be put out. So as far as my official prediction for this fight, I am going to go with Magomed Ankalaev by 4th round TKO. I'm just on the Magomed Ankalaev hype train. I think Thiago Santos has a chance to win, but he's getting up there in age now. He's slowing down. He had the double knee surgery. I don't think he can move as good as he once was able to. And then on top of that, I think Magomed Ankalaev just has all the skills to potentially make a run at the light heavyweight championship. I mean, the guy has great footwork. He uses his footwork. He has great technical striking. And then on top of that, he has very good grappling and he's massive. I mean, Thiago Santos is not small by any means, but he is a former middleweight. I think Ankalaev is the bigger guy. I think he's the stronger guy. I think he has the better grappling. And Santos is kind of a tailor-made matchup for Ankalaev. It's very similar to the Cutelaba matchup, where Ankalaev kind of likes to back up and counter you as you plot forward. And Santos tends to like to rush forward. And I think Ankalaev's striking is going to be too technical for him. I think it's going to be competitive early. I think Santos is going to be careful, trying to watch out for those counters of Ankalaev, maybe kind of, temper his pressure a little bit. But I think eventually, as the fight goes on, as Santos starts to slow down, I think Magomed Ankalaev is going to clip him, put him down, control him in the grappling, and eventually finish him via ground and pound. Santos just doesn't have 5-round cardio. I know he went 5 rounds with Johnny Walker, and he did go 5 rounds with John Jones, but I don't think this is the same Santos that we saw back when he fought John Jones. And in that Johnny Walker fight, wasn't super active. And, also, I don't think he's going to get the level of pressure that Ankalaev is going to be able to put on him with the grappling. I think Ankalaev is so well-rounded. I think he's going to mix in the clinch. I think he's going to mix in the takedowns. Even if the takedowns aren't successful, it's going to put that in Santos's head where he's going to be worried about the takedowns. And I really believe that Santos is going to get, a little bit more desperate as the fight goes on. He's going to move forward. And I think eventually Ankalaev, the technical striking that he has, is going to be a game changer in this fight. I could see him dropping in with a check left hook, or that he loves using that 1-2. Ankalaev's got an amazing jab. He's constantly pumping the jab and then the straight left right behind it. And I think Santos, as the fight goes on, he's going to get slower. The reflexes aren't going to be as crisp as they were early. And I think eventually Ankalaev is going to drop him and be able to finish him off on the ground. As far as Santos's chance of winning, I don't see him winning a decision. I think if it goes to decision, I think Ankalaev is going to win this fight. I'm curious about Ankalaev's cardio. I don't believe he's ever gone 5 rounds, so that is kind of a question mark, but I think he has good cardio. He's gone hard 3 rounds before, and he still looks pretty fresh in the 3rd round. I really think that Thiago Santos is just not the same guy that he once was. He's getting up there in age. He's slowing down. He's had the double knee surgery. And I think that Ankalaev is the future of the light heavyweight division. If Santos wants to win, I think he has to be super conservative and chop the legs early and often. Ankalaev is very heavy on that lead leg. Volkan Ozdemir was brutalizing it so badly that he had to switch stances. But I think that's his main hope. And then eventually, as Ankalaev starts to, his mobility starts to be limited by his leg getting chopped, eventually Santos has got to look to connect with a massive punch. But Santos is nowhere near as the technical striker that Ankalaev is. He likes to rush forward, blitz forward like Yoel Romero, and throw wild winging punches. And I just don't think you can get away with that with a guy with the technical ability of Ankalaev. I think Ankalaev gets this one done. I think he gets it done impressively. I think he gets it done in the 4th round by TKO, as I said before. So let me know in the comments, who do you guys think is going to win this fight? Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and thank you so much for watching.